and then go into that, and then Ann will fire away at you.
Okay, well, culmination of a long process. You go back to really December for me and January for the players when we first started to get to know each other, put a staff together, evaluate what we had in terms of talent and ability and work ethic on the team, try to add to that with some transfer players to help out with immediate depth, some promising young freshman players to help out with future development and rounding out of the team. And then all of the process, the daily process, the daily itinerary of lifting, meeting, practicing through spring practice, all the commitments through the summer. It seems like it all builds up to the first game. And a week from today, we'll be talking about the next opponent, and there'll be a little bit more of a context, a healthier context. But right now, I know the players and the coaches are really excited about just this first opportunity to see how we match up against a very good Abilene Christian team.
That's it? Good? Okay. Has it felt like a long 6, 8 months now? I guess almost 9 months, I guess. Has this felt like forever, Ed?
This has felt like a really long process in some ways. In others, it has just flown by. It seems like just yesterday I was under a lot of stress on getting my family moved immediately. That was important to me and my family, that we did this together. We didn't have a 6-month period or something like that where we were apart. And so there was a lot of stress in that, a lot of logistics. Obviously, I think that each player and coach on the staff could probably relate in those ways. There's just, the change is hard, and so in some ways it's to go through all that and then find ourselves sitting here right now seems like it's been fast and a whirlwind. In other ways, it seemed like an endless march with a lot of work.
Yeah, I bet. I guess first question, Jacob Sermon is the starting guy, as we touched on a little bit yesterday. Why, Ed? What was it about Jake that jumped out and made him QB1?
Yeah, if I were to put together a checklist of what I'm looking for in a quarterback, and I've been so fortunate, really lucky is a better word. I've been around too many good quarterbacks to be considered my fair share. A lot of guys drafted. We had, even at the first place I worked, we had a Division III school. We had the Division III National Player of the Year, and a good quarterback makes everybody around him better. So Brad Sorensen was the first quarterback drafted, first player drafted from SUU, and since the 1970s, and he was a great one for us at Southern Utah. And we had other really good ones there, all conference guys. And then all the guys that have been around through BYU have been drafted, and Josh Johnson, when I was at San Diego, he's still playing in the NFL. 20-something years now, I think. Yes. He's been playing in the NFL as a quarterback. So, I have a checklist of what I'm looking for in a quarterback, and it's been built by all those guys that I've been so fortunate to be around. And Jacob Sermon hits every box on that checklist, on and off the field. I mean, he's already graduated. He's a tremendous leader on and off the field. He's not afraid to open his mouth, but he also does a really good job of lifting up the guys around him who need to be lifted up. He's got, from a physical standpoint, there's no question there. He's got a live arm. He can make all the throws. He's got a quick release. Stands tall in the pocket. He's courageous. Understands, really smart with the game, and even some of the nuances that we bring in terms of game management. He's all over it, and really took to it from day one, and so really excited about everything that he brings to the table. A high level of belief in what he's going to accomplish here and beyond.
You said in our conversation, our one-on-one, which feels like a million years ago, actually, everyone's got to earn it every single day. That, I don't want to mess up the words too much, but that's, I think, the gist of it. Jacob's the starter for game one, but I want to be very clear about this, but that could change. I mean, he's got to earn it every single, he has to come back after after ACU and continue to earn it, if I'm understanding. You're not going to sit here right now and say he's the starter for Incarnate Word, or are you? Or am I understanding that right?
Just to make sure I understand your question, would the question be applicable to every other starter on our depth chart?
Yeah, I guess it would be.
Then the answer would be applicable to every other starter.
Okay.
Everyone's job every day is a competition. We don't, we've got 22 starters here, I believe, or so listed on the depth chart, and it's disrespectful to the other 80 kids on the roster to think that that those jobs aren't up for whoever's playing the best in that particular moment. That being said, I have full confidence that Jacob and all these other starters would be our starters for the rest of the season. So we hope we can have that kind of health and performance.
Yeah, that was a very clumsy question. I'm sorry about that. But what I wanted to then get to was, how does that work for the athlete, even the coaches, week to week, knowing, I guess, nothing's set. I guess the mindset is I've got to earn it every single week.
That's right.
It's not set, right?
That's right. And that's the mindset I want. It's the same mindset that you and I have. I can't go cavalier living my life and making mistakes and expect to hold down gainful employment. And these guys, they have a responsibility to the team, to the alumni, to the university. They've got to represent all of what we are asking them to represent on a daily basis. So it's certainly the way that I want to build a team and the dynamic I want to have. Again, to put it in context, if Tom Brady had any eligibility left and he was our starting quarterback right now, his job would still be up for competition on a daily basis.
Oh. What makes Abilene Christian so good offensively?
I think it starts with their offensive line. They're massive up front. I think they have an FBS offensive line. They are they're from a size, weight, strength standpoint, and now from an experience standpoint. Every guy returning and even some backups in there with significant experience. So they've got an offensive line that we expect to be coordinated. Jill, they've got an offensive line coach, an offensive coordinator that I know very well on a personal and professional level. We've worked together, and so I know the type of the type of quality that he brings to his approach. And they have an outstanding running back that would be good behind any offensive line, and it'll be even stronger behind this one. They've got a quarterback that deals the ball all over the field and very competent at staying ahead of the chains and being smart with the football. And they've got a returning group of receivers that are all accomplished. So I'm sure they hit the ground the first day of spring ball. We would not have wanted to face them the first day of spring ball when we were trying to figure out who we were, and they probably were significantly better than on day one of spring ball than they were the last game of last year.
Yeah. Any advantage to starting the season on the road? Considering you're a new group, or is that anything at all?
I haven't thought about that much. It's an interesting question. Some of the advantages, I think, of being on the road are the team is fairly sequestered. We don't have the resources, the funding, or at least we haven't chosen to use our limited resources to sequester the team in a hotel for home games. And so, I think to be on the road is a little bit of an opportunity for a team to bond and experience some more time together and interact with each other in the countdown to the game, the 48 hours before the game. And so, I hope in that sense that it's a fun experience. Some of my best memories of being a college football player are just the moments away from the practice field and away from the game, but still around the team, and we'll have some of those moments.
I think this might be really my last question for you, Ed. Is UNC a better team on August 31st than when everybody came together in early January, all those months ago? You guys feel like you've made progress, and may I ask where, in what areas?
Unrecognizably so.
Really?
The difference between our team in spring practice and now. I was just talking to our players a couple of days ago. I have a clear vision in my head for the way a team should practice, and we just got there on Sunday. And so to me, there is a finish line. There's a tape for the first game. And just in terms of all of our preparation, there are other finish lines too, right? At the end of the first game, where do we stand? At the end of the season, et cetera. But this finish line tape that's stretched across that I have envisioned in my mind, we are rapidly approaching that for game one. I feel like we're going to be as ready as we can be. Now, how we match up against Abilene Christian, that's for the players and that's for game day and the football gods to decide on that given day. But I feel very good about every step that our team has taken to be ready for this moment.
I should just really ask this. This will be the last one. How do you like the matchup of your offense on their defense?
I think it's another great challenge for us.
Really?
Yeah, our players understand this. There's no mistaking. We are going up against an established winning football program, one that played late in the season for their conference championship against good quality opponents, one that was one win away from making the national playoffs, likely getting a playoff selection, one that's got a ton of returning production. Where they lost some guys on the defensive line, they seem to have just rebuilt it. They look bigger than they were last year on the defensive line, so they're big, physical on both sides of the ball. They've got skill players returning, length and speed on offense and defense at receiver and defensive back. They look to me like a team with no holes. It's really exactly what you'd want as an opponent, because we're not going to luck our way into any type of victory. We're going to have to win in really many facets of the game just to have a chance to be in the game.
Perfect, Coach. Appreciate it.
I think I'm good. Yes.
Stuff.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Really nice to meet you. I'm just going to record this.
Likewise.
Yeah, I just haven't kind of gotten to you or something. I feel badly.
I hear you. All right, Coach, just making an opening statement about the offense as we head into week one against ACU.
Okay, yeah, really excited where we're at as an offense right now. Kids been playing really well, flying around and executing at a high level. So, first game, new program, new staff. You kind of got those unknowns, and so, but we're excited. Feel like they're ready, and excited to see how this thing turns out on Thursday night.
Wow, you're quick. Jacob Sermon.
Yeah.
QB1.
Yeah.
At least for G1, game one, right? In your mind, Blair, why? What is it that makes Jake the man? At least, again, I know everyone's earning their keep along the way. Ed and I have talked about that. We just talked about that.
Yeah.
For you, what makes Jake QB1? Excuse me.
Sorry. I think he has a lot of special traits and abilities. I've been really fortunate to be around and work with some really good ones. Zach Wilson, Jaron Hall.
Oh, sure.
The kid we had last year at Southern Utah, Justin Miller. He's dynamic. He's awesome. Love Justin. Jacob has a lot of those same traits in his work ethic, in the way he sees the game, the way that he studies the game, his mental processor. I talk a lot about mental processor. I think he has the ability and the talent to be just as good as any of those guys I just mentioned. And I know that's high praise, it really is. And he's had a long journey, but I think he's ready for the moment. And his leadership has been phenomenal. But the way he sees the game and processes the game, and he's got a really, really special talent, special arm. He's got a strong arm, but he has the ability to put the ball where it needs to be put and has nice touch on the ball. So really, really excited about Jacob. He's earned every bit of what we hope is coming for him as far as a lot of success. But he's done it the right way. We could not be more blessed to step into a situation as a new staff and have a guy like Serm right there, ready to go.
When did you know that he was the one, the guy?
You kind of knew in spring ball.
Did you?
He started separating himself. But I think this summer he really changed. And what I mean by changed is just took a whole nother leap forward.
Really?
and separated himself from the guys. His leadership, you know, there are some things in spring that we had to, some rough edges we had to, you know, smooth out, and he did a phenomenal job. And then also the extra time he put in on his own to really just dive in and invest in this thing. You know, we have a really good room. We have a talented room. We have a room full of great kids at the quarterback position, but he definitely has separated himself.
Yeah.
And we're excited to see what he does.
So he started at UW, I guess, right? And then went to CMU.
Yeah, Central Michigan, yeah.
Central Michigan, right. We're in a funky, this could be a question for another time, but I'm going to ask it. We're in a funky time with college athletics,
Sure.
to say the least. What kind of an advantage is it at all to get a young man like that who has been in a few different places for whatever reasons, and I don't know what they are with him,
Sure.
but he's probably a little older. I don't know how old he is, but what kind of advantage is it amidst all this college football chaos to then, you know, come out through the smoke and have a guy like Jake?
Oh, it's a huge
there.
advantage.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to have a guy that's seasoned, that's mature, I think that's the best word that describes him. He's mature, right? He's had a journey now. He's already been at 2 other stops, and I think it helps him appreciate what we have here and to embrace what we are here and to run with it, right? Instead of looking at what we lack, he looks at what we have and how can we make this work. And he's excited for the opportunity to play ball. So many times in this day and age, kids get caught up in the glitz and the glamour and the facilities and this and that and, oh, the rankings. And it's like, you know what? He just wants to play ball and take advantage of the opportunity. So to have a guy that at the core of it just loves football and is really good at it, but loves football, I think that permeates throughout the rest of your team, right? When they see your leader having that mentality and that attitude, it does. It shifts the focus of, hey, you know what, let's get back to the core of this whole thing, and that's football.
Right.
And you know, peel away the onion and you peel away all, you know, all the other stuff that gets distractions, right? Focus on ball. It's a huge advantage to have that guy because he centers everybody. He brings everybody back to ground zero, like, hey, this is football, and it's based off of hard work and toughness and discipline. And you know, I think that also goes into what Coach Lamb's culture he's built here as well. And so it's been a perfect fit. It's a great advantage. We're really blessed to have him.
I'm going to switch gears here to the game. A lot of my reading last night about ACU was focused on their offense.
Mm-hmm.
I did turn my head a little bit and look at some of their defense, and I guess, you know, they did have some losses, whatever, graduation trend, whatever that happens in this day and age. How do you like your matchup of your offense against their defense?
First and foremost, I think they have a phenomenal defense. I played them last year. I thought
Did you?
It was the toughest defense I played all year. I think they do an unbelievable job with their staff. I think their kids play so hard for
Really?
them. And so by no means is this, oh man, we love our matchup because they've got all these glaring weaknesses. I think they're so good on defense. I mean, their secondary, they have a lot of experience in their secondary and their linebacking core. And, you know, I know there's some new faces up front on their defensive line, but, man, you watch how those kids play for those coaches. They fly around. And they're physical. And I think it's an exciting matchup for our team. It's a great challenge for our team. You know, most people, you know, week one, it's, hey, let's schedule an opponent we can ease into this, or, you know, maybe we have an advantage. I think it's a great challenge for our team, our offense. I mean, shoot, they were, 7-4 or something like that last year. I mean, 1 went away from winning the conference.
Yep.
And so they got a good program. Their head coach is doing a phenomenal job over there. Their defensive coordinator is really, really bright. I think schematically, I think what they do is really, really, defensively, it's really good. They do a really good job. So we're going to embrace the challenge. We're looking forward to the challenge, but we know it's a challenge, and we know they're a really good team and a really good defense. Big
advantage for you guys, or to have you coming in and have some experience with this, with ACU?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call me an advantage. I think you know,
that helps a lot, right?
I think you look at the tape, you evaluate it, and you do the best that you can. I think anyone in my shoes would do the same thing, go through the same process. The biggest thing is just trusting our process about how we go about things.
Okay.
You know, I've been really fortunate to learn from a lot of really, really successful coaches in the industry. Jeff Grimes, Brian Harson, Mac Brown, Ron Turner, David Bailiff, and I'm sure there's a lot of other guys that are really great that I'm leaving out, but Aaron Roderick at BYU. And so to see them go through their process, help develop my process, especially going into game one. And so, you know, you learn from some successes in game ones, and you learn from some mistakes and failures in game ones, and you say, okay, so what do we get better, and how do we improve? And so that game one is you're not, you often hear game 1 to game 2 is your biggest jump, right, in improvement. I want us to eliminate that jump per se, because we're so prepared for game 1. And so we have a little bit different process here to try to give us every opportunity to be the best we can on game 1. And I know there's, you know, some of that can't replicate because it's a game, right? And so, you know, when the lights go on, it's a little bit different than in practice. But I'm confident in our process. I love where our players are at right now, and now we just got to go out and do it.
I think this will probably be the last question for offensively. How are you guys better from spring ball, let's say?
Oh, it's night and day.
Is it?
It's night and day.
How so? Can you be a little specific?
Well, yeah, our kids know what we're doing, right? I think in spring, especially in the first year in any system, spring is the introduction. And then when you get through the end of fall camp, you want to feel like, okay, we know what we're doing. We're really dialed in. We've improved a lot personnel-wise as well. We've you know, had some guys come into the program this summer that are going to help and contribute, and we're excited about that. But just the knowledge of what we're doing and how to react to different scenarios and different defenses and different looks that they could give us, and knowing the adjustments on the fly, just completely different. I thought spring was a great time to build the foundation, but now the foundation was built in spring, and then over the course of the summer and then the fall, it's like, okay, now let's really construct how this thing's going to be. So I thought they've done an amazing job of taking the foundation from spring and to where we're at now. Feel really confident with our kids, and I think they feel the confidence, right? And as they've seen us have success throughout fall camp, and it's been fun to see their buy-in and their confidence as well. And so completely different team from the spring, really excited about where we're at.
You mentioned that this is a challenge playing against ACU. Wildcats, right? Wildcats.
Yep.
Do you have some ideas on how you can win the game?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I think that's, you know, there's some spots where we feel like we can, you know, how do I say this politically correct without giving too much away? There's some spots where we feel like we can take some advantage of some things.
Okay.
But one thing with their defense is there's nothing given. You have to earn every single yard. I mean, they make it tough, and they're really, really good in the red zone. They're really, really good in what we like to call the fringe, just outside the red zone.
Just out green zone or whatever it is?
Yeah, a lot of people call it the green zone.
Green,
they're
okay.
really good. You know, last year when we played them, we moved the ball up and down the field in between the 30s, but man, they're bend but don't break, and they're really good.
They locked it down on you.
They did. They did a really nice job.
Really?
So,
interesting.
But, you know, we feel like there's some opportunities there for us to take advantage of, as I'm sure they feel the same way about us.
Sure.
And so, you know, we're just excited to see if how it all works out and pans out.
I mean, you and Ed both, you know, you sung their praises. Certainly, I understand, but you know, I just want to, you know, kind of find out if there's some tricks up your sleeve. You know, I don't mean that in like what
Sure.
are they? I just mean you feel like there are some areas where you can hang with them.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, and we really tried to focus on this in camp, is just executing our stuff.
Okay.
And it all comes back to the execution of your fundamentals and your core plays, and you know, we can execute that. And that's what we're going to hang our hat on is our execution. It's kind of in the recipe we had when we were all back together at BYU together, and what we did last year, and so you know, every game plan is going to have its own different flavor,
Nuances.
Yeah, just because of who you're playing. But I think it all boils down to execution.
Ultimately, you guys, you know, if you've got some yardage there, someone's got to,
Yeah.
you know, haul in that ball, or
Yeah.
you've got to make a block, and you've got to get
Exactly.
someone to that first down marker.
And at the end of the day, you know, you got to make a play. You know, I've often heard, and I actually believe this is my job as a coordinator, to create matchups, one-on-ones, and opportunities for the players. But at the end of the day, you might have to go make a guy miss. You might have to go catch the ball. Go win your one-on-one matchup.
Uh-huh.
Go do your job.
Get a little higher than somebody
Yeah,
else.
so
Yeah.
go make a play. And that's
Okay.
why you've been recruited here, and that's why you're playing for us. And so yeah, that's that's the deal. At the end of the day, you still got to go make plays.
Yeah.
Make a guy miss. Got to go score. Go those type of things.
Coach, can you touch on Alec Bell? He was preseason, named one of the preseason top players at the FCS level.
Yeah, I think Alec's done a phenomenal job for us in camp. I'm really excited about what he can do. He has a lot of talent. He's big, strong, he can run. Been really fortunate in the last 4 or 5 years to be around a lot of really good tight ends. I think he fits that mold. The guys that we had at BYU, he could fit right in with that group. Some of the guys we had at Southern Utah were really good. I think one of them's playing for BYU now. And so I think Alec has every bit of ability to hang with that group and be in that type of the same conversation. So excited about what he can do, and now it's time to go do it. But he's shown a lot during fall camp. This makes us really excited.
Cool. That's good. Very good.
Okay. Anything else?
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Blair.
Okay.
But if you want to start with an opening statement, Preston,
Yep.
That's-
Open statement.
have at it.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's been a productive camp for the defense. You can tell the guys have a good understanding of just where they're supposed to be, how they're supposed to line up, alignment, assignment, technique. Just our emphasis really has just been execution, right? Execution's our strategy, so and playing with great effort and energy. And so I think the boys have done a really nice job buying into that process and buying into the culture. And our hope is just to keep things simple and let the boys play and play fast.
Game 1, no David Hogue. What kind of impact does that have on you guys defensively? What does his absence mean?
Yeah, Hogue's, he's been a great player for UNC, and just our goal is for him to be the best that he can be and get to a point where he can play at the highest level possible that he can. So, he means a lot to the team. He's a great player, great leader for our team, and so, we hope that he is able to get to a point where he's ready to play full speed.
How do you make up for his loss? What do you guys do? How do you compensate for losing a guy like that?
I don't know if football is about one guy, and it's about the team, and it's about a group of individuals winning their one-on-ones coming together. And to me, the mark of a great defensive player is being able to defeat a block and then make it a tackle in addition to. And if we're able to do that if all our front 7 guys are able to do that, I think we're going to be really tough to run the ball against. I think we're going to be a really tough defense to beat if we just focus on those fundamentals.
Knowing that he's not going to play this week, do you have to kind of spend any kind of time, Preston? Okay, guys, let's regroup. I know that's a tough thing. Let's get over it the best way you can. How do you kind of cheerlead the guys out of it, or do you have to do that, Preston? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Our defense isn't about one guy.
Okay.
And so if a guy gets hurt, it doesn't matter who it is, the next man picks up the rifle. And that's the mindset of our defense. I think that's the mindset of our team. And it's always the next guy ready, and that's part of the importance of just having depth. And so it's just about the next man being ready.
One of the things in my reading about Abilene Christian was it looks like they have a lot of guys back offensively. Big offensive line, physically big guys, a lot of experience, quarterbacks, the skill position guys. How do you plan to handle those guys on Thursday night?
A lot of respect to their offense.
There's a lot there, right?
They return a lot of experience. I think they're really well coached. I think the strength of the offense is the offensive line. I think they're big. The tackles are big. They're athletic. You can tell they're well coached. They know what they're doing, and they play really disciplined. And the running back as well. In addition to, we know who he is. He's a really good player. He has great vision, great
Dobbins,
balance.
is that,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, number 21.
Yep.
But yeah, he's got great vision, great balance, understands the scheme. When there's soft spots on the defense, he does a nice job finding it. And then they also, even the other one as well, number 3. I think he was number 14 last year,
Okay.
but he's number 3 right now. Banks.
Thanks.
And I think both those guys, they have great vision, and they do a nice job finding soft spots when you know, in the defensive line. And quarterbacks, I think they do a really nice job with him. He gets the ball out quick. They get the ball out to the perimeter. Really nice, and the receivers do a nice job blocking, especially all 3 of the tight ends that they play with. It's a really good offense. It's a really good offense, and I think they're really efficient. And so definitely, you know, we're going to have to come in and match their physicality, and but they get behind their offensive line, and so I think it's a great test for our defensive line. That's where games are won and lost is up front, and so I know our boys are excited. I know they're going to come out geeked up as well, and I'm excited to see how this goes for them.
I know it's early, it's only game 1. I don't want to get I want to be careful. Too much hyperbole, Preston, but could this be one of the best offenses you guys see this year?
I don't know if I really can answer that question.
Okay.
I think we have a really tough schedule.
Sure.
I think this is a really good offense. Honestly, just been focusing on them, and but yeah, I mean, a lot of respect for them. They're
Sure.
well coached, they're physical, they play hard, and this is a really good football team that we're playing.
Sounds good. How have you guys improved defensively from, I don't know, let's say spring ball to now? You guys are much better unit out there?
I think just understanding of the scheme in
Okay.
general.
Okay.
I think a lot of guys have taken a step forward. There's guys who have just changed their bodies from spring till now, just in the weight room.
Really?
And I think just the physicality has improved. But the biggest thing is just having all summer to really work with the guys and detail out his lineman assignment technique. I think just the overall understanding of the scheme is where I've seen improvements from spring until where we're at right now in camp.
You excited?
Really excited, man. I'm excited to see how good we can be.
Asked Ed, I didn't ask Blair this. Feels like a long time coming, this game?
Yeah, it feels like it's been an eternity waiting for this, and now it's here. You know, it's been a long off season. I'm really excited for the guys. Just they've put a lot of work in. They bought into everything that we've asked them to do. They put the time in the weight room, and the guys who need to gain weight have gained, and the guys who've been needing to lose have lost. And now it's just time to go out and play and just go out and have fun.
I think oh, yeah.
Can you talk about Jordan, how he's transitioned from DB to
Yeah.
linebacker, and he's put on 20 pounds, so how's that been?
Yeah, Kanapke, you know, when I first got here, and we talked to him about moving from safety to linebacker, and I told him you need to weigh, you know, I think he was weighing about 215 pounds at the time, maybe even less. And I said, you need to be in the 230s, and kind of looked at me crazy, but now he's walking around at 235 and
Really?
all yoked up, and he's, like I said, he's doing everything that we've asked him to do, and I think with some of the position changes and moving him to safety, I think it improves our team speed on defense. I think he's a guy who can go sideline to sideline in the box, and so I'm excited to see what he does. And he's already proven, you know, I think he's one of the leading tacklers on the team already at safety, so he's a proven tackler, and I think he's done a nice job transitioning.
Cool. It's great to have. I talked to James about Jordan. I'm going to get something written on him. PDQ, I meant to try to do that last night and I didn't. So yeah, we'll get something. That's great to have for me. So super.
Awesome.
I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Preston.
Yeah, appreciate you guys.
Appreciate it. Clear this slate here. Sorry. Hang on one second, Dennis, if I can
You're good.
catch up with you. I caught your I caught some of it yesterday. Your radio show with Brady. And I'm with you on Christmas music to a degree. I don't need it before Thanksgiving. I don't even need it on Thanksgiving weekend. I'm not a get your tree on Thanksgiving weekend. I start pulling it out December 10th, 12th, that time, because as a family, that's when we used to get our tree, you know. But I got a kick out of that segment. Clearly, I had some thoughts about that,
That's
so
right.
I got a kick out of that segment. You guys had a good time with that.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah. And maybe by the end of the season, we can, as we're getting toward the holiday, maybe we can get you to listen and tolerate to a couple of songs or something.
I'm sure we can.
Now you go ahead and ask questions. So.
Is he going to give an opening statement? Do you want? Okay.
You go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, that was an okay icebreaker, Jacob. Hey, I hear, at least for game one here against Abilene Christian that you're the starting guy. QB1, I guess, is the expression these days, right? I guess first of all, how do you feel about that? Pretty exciting. What are your thoughts on that, Jacob?
Yeah, I think gratitude is my first thought that comes to mind.
Really?
I've had a long process getting here.
Yep.
And I got to give all the glory to God and His guiding hand to lead me here through some ups and downs. And I feel incredibly thankful for the supporting staff that I've had, my parents, my family, obviously Coach Peterson and Coach Lamb, for their guidance and their coaching. And it just feels blessed. I feel very fortunate and grateful for this opportunity. I put a lot of hard work into this program and to my personal development that I believe I'll be able to give it the best I can.
I'm back in this role as a sports reporter. I was a sports reporter in my previous parts of my career. Back doing it now. College sports has changed immensely, even in the 3-4 years since I did this last. Given the journey, starting at UW, going to Central Michigan, does this chance now, does this feel like you're getting more of a chance to show what you can do? Can you explain to me a little bit more about, given that journey, kind of what it sort of means right now? Do you feel like you're finally getting a chance? I'm Jacob Sermon, here's who I am, this is what I can do. Is that kind of what it's like with the travels from 2017 or whatever it was?
Yeah, absolutely. I think part of my journey has been a lot of development and growth. And I think, God's plan through it all has been evident to me now standing where I am. If you had asked me freshman or sophomore year when I was at Washington what I thought my career would look like, it's evident that God's hand in it has played a significant role. And so I think some of that patience, some of that being able to kind of lift that up to Him and say, I trust in you and you're going to lead me to where I need to be, has brought me to where I am now. And I couldn't be happier, I couldn't be more grateful for that. And so getting an opportunity to play and to showcase some of my abilities is a blessing, and one that I don't take lightly. And so using that kind of growth and maturity throughout my process and my career here, and hopefully being able to use that to glorify Him is a tremendous opportunity for me.
May I ask, how old are you, Jacob?
24.
24? Okay. And I think I heard them say maybe on the radio yesterday, are you a graduate student?
Yeah.
What are you pursuing in the academic side of your life?
I'm getting a master's in sports coaching and administration.
Cool. Okay. Master's in sports coaching, you said?
Yes, ma'am.
Sports coaching, and I'm sorry?
Touch of administration. But
okay.
It mostly focuses on sports coaching.
Okay. Can I ask, what was your bachelor's?
Communications.
In communications?
Mm-hmm.
And did you get that from where?
From Washington.
Oh, you did? You got the BA from Washington. Okay. Gotcha. Do you want to coach? Is that what you'd like to get into someday?
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the obvious question.
Yeah, I feel like I've had so much experience between.
Yeah.
I've had 5 head coaches and 7 offensive coordinators up to this point. And so I have a tremendous amount of experience just from their different coaching styles and offenses that I've been a part of, that I feel like I'd love to someday use that experience in my own personal ups and downs to hopefully pass that along to future generations.
Yeah, super. Do you think you want to coach high school, college, kind of see what happens, see where it takes you kind of thing? Or
Yeah, I plan to play football as long as I possibly can.
Okay.
And then kind of see what relationships I can build along the way and let God take care of the rest.
How many years have you been at UNC? I'm sorry.
This is my second year.
This is your second year? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And how many more do you have here?
This will be my final year.
This will be it. Okay, got it. Who got you to? Who's your coach at UW?
My first head coach was Chris Peterson.
Okay, that I know.
Mm-hmm. And our OC was Bush Hamden. And in my third year there, Chris Peterson retired. Jimmy Lake took place as the head coach.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, super. Sounds good. Does being the starter change how you function or interact and work with the team?
Not at all.
Just that? No?
No,
Really?
I feel like being a leader doesn't necessarily showcase one's ability on or off the field. I think you are who you are. And to me, that's something that I strive to be consistent every day. I want my work ethic and my actions on and off the field to reflect who I am, regardless of my position starting. And I think a lot of guys can see that transition from last year to this year. Being in the spotlight at times last year and also other times doing my best to help back up Dylan and be there for him and the team whenever I needed to be. But I think a lot of guys hopefully would agree with my stance that regardless of my position, regardless of my role in the team, I'm consistent with who I am. My work ethic doesn't change. And I think a lot of that just speaks to a little bit of my maturity, just my growth process and the preparation I personally take pride in. Regardless of my role, I'm going to be ready to play. And so now I've been able to give the opportunity to start that role. But who I am on and off the field, whether I'm starting, whether I'm being patient, doesn't necessarily change who I am.
When Ed and his staff, Coach Lamb, when Ed Lamb and his staff came in, how long did it take you to feel kind of comfortable with what was being put in front of you and in your position, Jacob?
Probably 20 minutes.
Really?
Yeah.
On day one?
Day zero.
Day zero.
I got a call from Darren Dunn the day they hired Coach Lamb. I think it was the day before they might have announced it.
Okay.
And I was able to get on a phone call with Coach Lamb right away and start building that relationship. And from the moment we had a conversation, I knew he was a great pick, obviously. He's doing things that the community can't quite see yet, but I think we'll start to notice that on the field, just in the culture that he's building, the group of guys that have all bought in, his message and what he stands for and what he showcases on a personal level of accountability have all really screamed excellence. It's a pro-style culture where he treats us like we're professionals and he expects high levels of responsibility and performance out of us. And so that relationship that he's kind of cultivated here, I was immediately attracted to, and I felt really, really comfortable just from the very beginning.
Just in that first conversation. I asked that question because I guess I kind of wanted to know then when did you feel like I'm the guy, or I don't know how you think of something like that. Maybe you do, but when did you feel like I can be QB1? This can be my starting role. This can be my thing.
I think as a competitor, I personally believe in myself at all times.
Sure.
However, I've never really felt like I'm truly comfortable. I think we have a fantastic QB room here. The guys are pushing me every day to get better, and so. One of my greatest fears is a sense of complacency within myself. Yeah. And so every day I'm trying to push myself to be better. And so the feeling of I can do this has always been there. I believe since I came out of high school that I could be a starting quarterback in the college level. Okay. It's taken, God's hand along my path to lead me here. And also it's taken some fantastic quarterback rooms and high levels of competition to help kind of craft and mold my game. And I've taken bits and pieces from all different types of quarterbacks that I've beaten competition, that I've lost to in competition. And each of them I've taken parts of their game that I admired and tried to add that to my own. And slowly but surely here we are with what I feel like is the best arsenal of tools and preparation that I've been able to accommodate.
Super. Let's talk about Abilene Christian a little bit here. I wanted to get a little bit about you. I hadn't had a chance or didn't take the chance to talk to you about you, the person and the quarterback. Seeing Abilene Christian defense, how do you feel like your offense matches up with their unit, Jacob?
I think they have a great defense. I have a lot of respect for their staff and what their coaching staff has been able to do as far as putting their defensive players in the position to make plays. That being said, I have even more faith in Coach Peterson and his preparation that he's been able to impart on our offense. They're going to run, they're going to run what they run. They believe in their scheme, and they have the guys to back it up. Their front seven's strong. They have some really good DBs returning.
And so, from my perspective, I hold a lot of respect for them. You know, I'm gonna be thoughtful about my progressions and our matchups and everything. But I think we've done a really good job preparing the best we can, and we have a good game plan going forward.
You like the match? Is this a good matchup? Sometimes coaches say that, players. Is this a good matchup for you guys?
I believe I would take our guys over anybody. So
Okay.
we could be playing Bama tomorrow, and I'd say
Yeah.
I believe in our matchups. So I think that's just the guys we have in our room and the confidence I've built with our receivers and our offensive line and our running backs and our tight ends. I mean, we got great guys that I believe in, and so I would never believe in anyone else other than them.
Is there something as an offensive unit that you feel like we really have to do this or not do that against this defense?
No, I don't think there is. I think we have a game plan that we've set in stone, and I think we're really confident in that. And if we execute and we individually do our job as a unit, I think we'll be really successful.
Sounds good. Are you a captain?
I am.
You are a captain. Okay. Is that on? I didn't read. Is that on?
Not. It's not.
Okay. Let me just ask you about, as a captain and not having David Hogue. Was David a captain? Is he going to be?
I don't know.
Okay. I didn't know if that was determined, or I mean, if you for game one, or is what I'm trying to say. As a captain, and losing a guy like David for the first game. How do you play that as a captain? I mean, how do you manage that situation, or do you let the defensive guys worry about that, or do you feel the need to say something, or do you address that in team time, or whatever the case might be? How do you handle that,
Yeah.
Jacob?
Obviously, Hogue is a hell of a player. We're thankful to have him on this team, and I firmly believe that as a team sport, it takes all 11 guys on defense, offense, and special teams, and so. There's a little bit of a competitive nature in every single player, and we want to compete and do the best we can and get the best 11 guys on the field. And so, David, I think, brings a lot of good things to this team, and his leadership is incredibly valuable. And so we're thankful for him to have him on the team and see some of those leadership qualities out of him.
I think I'm good.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry. I stumbled there for a second as I was thinking, but I think I'm all set.
Awesome. Thank you very
Super.
much.
Thank you for your
Jacob.
time.
Appreciate
Thanks
it.
very much, Jacob. It's
Yes,
nice
ma'am.
meeting you.